Hi, my name is Dr. Surasina and today we will discuss about breast carcinoma. Breast carcinoma is the most common non-skin malignancy in women and second most common cause of cancer deaths in women, first being the cancer of lungs and bronchus. It is screened for early detection by mammography. There are multiple risk factors for developing breast carcinoma. First is female sex, because only 1% cases are seen in males. Second is hereditary factors or germline mutation. 5 to 10% of breast cancer occur in familial pattern due to germline mutation in the specific tumor suppressor genes. Race is the third factor. The risk differs among different races, like Hispanic women have highest incidence in the United States. This may be due to variation in the frequency of breast cancer gene among different races. Age is also a risk factor as the risk increases with increasing age. The incidence is rare below 25 years and after 80 years. Age at menarche. Menarche before 11 years of age increases the risk by 20% compared to menarche at 14 years or more. Similarly, late menopause is also a risk factor. Both early menarche and late menopause increase the lifetime exposure of breast tissue to estrogen. Similarly, post-menopausal estrogen and progesterone therapy increases the risk, and oophorectomy on the other hand decreases the risk of ER-positive breast cancer. Radiation exposure in the form of radiotherapy, like in Hodgkin lymphoma or due to nuclear accidents, have more risk of developing breast cancer. Diet is not directly linked to breast carcinoma, but moderate or heavy alcohol consumption increases the risk. Obesity. Premenopausal obese women undergo an ovulatory cycle, so lower progesterone levels, hence decreased risk. But postmenopausal obese women synthesize estrogen in the fat depot, thereby increasing the risk. Breastfeeding for 4 months or more is protective. More the breastfeeding, less is the risk due to suppressed ovulation and terminal differentiation of luminal cells. Breast carcinoma arise from the epithelial cells lining the ducts and lobules of terminal duct lobular unit (TDLUs). So, they are adenocarcinomas. All cancer arise due to mutation in the gene. Likewise, breast carcinoma also develop due to a number of mutations in the epithelial cells of milk gland. Now, these genetic mutations can either be acquired during lifetime of a person or may be inherited from one of the parents. If they are inherited, the resultant breast cancer is called familial breast carcinoma, and if they are acquired, then they cause sporadic breast carcinoma. Familial breast cancer are usually caused by autosomal dominant mutations in tumor suppressor gene like BRCA1, BRCA2, TP53 and CHEK2. Mutation in these genes cause defective DNA and loss of critical cell cycle controls, leading to accumulation of further mutation. Breast carcinoma is divided into invasive breast carcinoma and carcinoma in situ, depending upon the invasion of a stroma by the tumor cells. If the tumor cells do not breach the epithelial basement membrane, then the lesion is called carcinoma in situ, which subsequently breaches the basement membrane and invades underlying stroma and is called invasive breast carcinoma. Carcinoma in situ is divided into two types, DCIS and LCIS. Both DCIS and LCIS occurs in TDLU, terminal duct lobular unit, but DCIS more preferentially involves the ductal structures, whereas LCIS more preferentially involves the lobular structure. The main distinctive point is the cytoarchitectural morphology of these two types of in situ carcinoma. In DCIS, the tumor cells grows into the duct lumen, whereas in LCIS, the tumor cells grow in a disc-cohesive fashion and do not distort the lobular structure. Thus, underlying lobular architecture is preserved. DCIS is usually unifocal and unilateral and is almost always detectable in mammography due to calcification associated with necrosis. Unlike LCIS, there is no loss of E-cadherin, so cells are cohesive and the growth of tumor expands the acini and resembles a duct. DCIS can be morphologically divided into high-grade comedocarcinoma and low-grade non-comedocarcinoma. High-grade comedocarcinoma, that is comedo-DCIS, has two features: central necrosis and high-grade or pleomorphic nuclei. The name comedo is derived from comedone-like eruptions on skin, which when squeezed release necrotic debris. Likewise, in comedo-DCIS, there is accumulation of necrotic debris in the involved ducts. In non-comedo-DCIS, they lack both the central necrosis as well as high-grade nuclei. The tumor cells are small and uniform and forms various patterns of growth like solid, cribriform, micropapillary, etc. LCIS can be bilateral and multifocal in majority of cases. It preferentially involves the lobular structure of TDLU, and the tumor cells are disc-cohesive, so they do not distort the lobular architecture. LCIS is always an incidental finding, as it does not produce mammographic density due to calcification and stromal reaction. Here is the representative diagram of LCIS, in which we can see the growth of tumor cells. They are round, disc-cohesive, and they do not breach the basement membrane, do not invade the stroma. They just cause the lobular expansion. Invasive breast carcinoma. When the in situ carcinoma breaches the limiting basement membrane of breast epithelium, it invades the stroma and then it is called invasive breast carcinoma. It is usually detectable in screening mammography as opacity is less than 1 cm size, but in lack of mammography they present as hard lump in breast of around 2 cm size or more. There may be associated axillary or distant lymph node enlargement, but rarely they may present as axillary lymphadenopathy without any lump in breast. This is called occult primary. The tumor may grow locally to invade the underlying pectoralis muscle, causing fixation of tumor. Tumor infiltration into the Cooper's ligament and dermis will cause skin dimpling and nipple inversion. For the purpose of therapy and prognosis, breast carcinoma has been divided into a number of entities depending upon microscopic morphology, presence of ER and HER on tumor cells, and histologic grading. Breast carcinoma is first visualized in the microscope, where it can be classified as invasive ductal carcinoma, no special type, or not otherwise specified, where there is no specific histological pattern. It is most common type of invasive breast carcinoma and may comprise up to 2/3 of all cases. The second type of breast carcinoma is characterized by specific histomorphology, for example, tubular carcinoma, lobular carcinoma, mucinous carcinoma, papillary carcinoma, micropapillary carcinoma, carcinoma with apocrine differentiation, carcinoma with medullary features, and secretory carcinoma. All types of invasive carcinoma are graded according to Nottingham histologic score, which is based on tubule formation, nuclear pleomorphism, and mitotic count of the tumor cells. Grade 1 carcinoma are highly differentiated. They grow in tubular pattern consisting of tumor cells with small round nuclei and have low proliferation rate. Grade 2 carcinoma shows some tubular formation and a greater degree of nuclear pleomorphism and mitotic rate. Grade 3 carcinoma grow in a solid sheath or nest with high degree of nuclear pleomorphism and increased mitotic rate. Nowadays we have modified Bloom-Richardson's histologic grading, where we give score 1, 2, 3 on the basis of tubule formation, nucleus size and mitotic count, and the total comes between 3 to 5. It is classified as well differentiated breast carcinoma grade 1. 6 to 7 is considered moderately differentiated or grade 2 breast carcinoma, and 8 to 9 is poorly differentiated breast carcinoma. For the purpose of therapeutics and determining prognosis, molecular or biological classification of carcinoma is done on the basis of expression of estrogen receptor ER and human epidermal growth factor receptor HER2. The first is luminal type, which is ER positive and HER negative, and it is most common type found in approximately 50 to 65% of cases. Second is HER2 amplified, which may be positive for ER also in approximately 50% cases. Third subtype is basal type, which is negative for both ER and HER2. ER positive HER2 negative is also known as luminal type of breast carcinoma because it expresses genes similar to those of luminal epithelial cells of mammary gland. It is most common pathway of breast carcinoma and involves older women and men and responds well to hormonal therapy, that is tamoxifen. It has been divided into two types, luminal A and luminal B, also known as low proliferation and high proliferation type. The luminal A type has low proliferation index, that is Ki67 less than 14%, and luminal B type has high proliferative index, that is Ki67 more than 14%. High proliferation types are carriers of BRCA2 germline mutation. HER2 positive ER negative, also called HER2 amplified invasive breast carcinoma, is common in young premenopausal women and non-whites. There is amplification of HER2 gene on 17q chromosome, and it is most common type in patients with TP53 germline mutation. The treatment is trastuzumab, which is a humanized monoclonal antibody against the HER2 receptor. ER negative HER2 negative is also called basal type of breast carcinoma because mRNA expression pattern of tumor cells resemble basal or myepithelial cells. They also lack progesterone receptor, so they are called triple negative breast carcinoma, but are found to express cytokeratin 5-6, vimentin, SMA, and p63. They are common in young premenopausal African American women and Hispanics. They have high proliferation rate and rapid growth, and they are the most common subtype in BRCA1 germline mutation. There are various morphological subtypes like adenoid cystic carcinoma, medullary carcinoma, secretory carcinoma, and metaplastic carcinoma. Breast carcinoma is a heterogeneous disease with variable morphology, clinical presentation, prognosis, and therapeutics. And the prognosis of breast carcinoma depends on following factors like axillary lymph node metastasis, tumor size, local spread, whether it is inflammatory carcinoma or not, whether there is a lymphovascular invasion or not, what is the molecular subtype, what is the histological subtype, and what is the histological grading. That would be all. Thank you for your attention.